Good day, everyone. Today, we get to discuss a monumental conference that happened on December 4th. 180 countries. Imagine that, 180 countries around the world discussed the truth about what is happening in our world today. This is such an important moment for the world. And for everyone that had a chance to see it and to talk about it and to discuss a future in a creative society, which we truly, truly need today. We are here today. We are gathered today with speakers and guests that attended the show, and we will be discussing their views. We will be discussing all the facts that happened on December 4th through volunteers. Imagine that, volunteers from all over the world. No one's being paid to do this. Everyone's doing this for the good of mankind. The good of mankind, everyone. Their hearts and spirits are in this 100%. And we'd like to present our guest today. Marina?
Thank you so much, Leslie. We are honored to introduce you to our respected speakers. So today with us, Chandra Cleveland from United States, licensed private investigator and certified human trafficking investigator. Vladimir Ivanov, lawyer, immigration law expert. David Kruger from Germany, participant of the Creative Society project. Benjamin Hohen, participant of the Creative Society from Germany as well. And Jason Bell, participant of the Creative Society from the United States. So dear friends, welcome to our discussion. And before we start, let us watch the video about the conference.
Four months have passed since the time of the previous conference. And over this relatively short period, we have seen how much the progression of climate change and environmental degradation has accelerated. It's important not to remain silent because this survival of all humanity is at stake. It is time for the truth.
We are now in a world where every single day, somewhere in the world, a climate extreme event is going to take place that will break the world record of that particular place.
The European floods this summer or the Western North America heat wave this summer. Both of those extreme events were due to the jet stream reacting in very unusual ways, in ways that climate models did not predict would happen.
But when I'm out in the field, I always hear people say that I never thought it would happen to me, and they're always surprised. Can you imagine how devastated you would be if you lost everything that you owned? If you watched the people around you, the people that you love, struggle and suffer or even die?
We have to understand we're one people on one planet, and it's up to us together to solve these problems.
We cannot leave it to our leaders. The leaders have shown that they are not up to the task. The leaders think of themselves as leaders of their own country. They don't care about the rest of the world.
The problem right now is we've all surrendered a certain amount of our power to centralized authority, and they're trying to use that to take over everything. And they've been using this excuse of anthropogenic global warming in order to try to consolidate their wealth and control. So we've got to just completely abandon and expose that.
The discussion about the climate is narrowed down to the reduction of CO2 and global warming gases, and I think the problem is much broader than that.
Nobel Prize winner Sukuro Manabe showed that doubling of CO2 concentration would increase temperature without considering water vapor by 1.3 degrees Celsius, whereas when you do take into account the moisture content, the temperature would increase by 2.3 degrees Celsius. In other words, its increase is almost 2 times faster. Anthropogenic global warming is a grandiose scientific scam of the 20th century.
When you actually go back into geologic records, ice core samples, volcanic data, 12,000 years ago, it was Campi Gargalli in Italy. 24,000 years ago was the Tambora in New Zealand. That lines up exactly with the cycle.
Green energy is not green at all. Wind power is not green because wind farms require enormous amounts of concrete and metal to construct, disturb wildlife, harm human health with noise pollution, kill hundreds of thousands of birds each year, pollute our air and water supply. We pay high prices for something that will never meet our needs.
We need to build a humanity that lives like a beehive. And we have to build a society that puts human life first. If we combine our scientific, technological, and intellectual resources, we can solve the problem of climate change.
Let's follow the Creative Society's survival guide. The 3 easy steps. Learn more, spread information, and unite to build a creative society.
After all, this world is given to all mankind with only one purpose: to live and be healthy, happy, to create and not to destroy.
The Creative Society is a project of everyone. We do not collect any donations or funds that disappear in the deep pocket. Instead, each person acts in their abilities and uses resources they already have. It is your opportunity to be a part of the solution and live out your superhero potential.
Well, we're just going to jump right into this. All right. Now, there was a lot discussed during the conference, and human trafficking was also one of those big things that needed to be recognized. Now, it says that an annual income from human trafficking worldwide is $150 billion. Imagine that. Which is the largest source of illicit profit in the world. There are 534 human trafficking flows registered in 148 countries. The number of detected children victims have tripled within the last 15 years. My question goes to Chandra. Chandra, you're the expert on this. And we would like to know issues and directly works of helping people.
Well, first of all, thank you.
Yes. How important is it for us to understand the root of the problem? And also, is it possible to change the situation with refugees in our consumerist society with such, money being made? How do we change all of this?
That is a great question. And you mentioned before you said that of $150 billion industry. It is $150 billion and growing industry. So it's not something that can be stopped immediately, because the people with power, the people with money are the ones who keep this going. The immigrants that come in and around different places of people and the laws not being the same everywhere. We need a global a global situation to handle sex trafficking and human trafficking, because God knows the concentration camps that we have out there, the exploitation that is going on right now there, they're not telling you. They are not telling you. They're not disbanding these camps from globally around the world, innocent children and the poverty of families that they are preying on and taking the children away. The money, the demand needs to stop. When the demand stops and the laws are increased together, then we can stop this. And only then, if you're paying attention to what's going on now in the trials of Epstein's trials, you would see, and a lot of people are not paying attention, there's a lot of wealthy men that are quitting their jobs. That is a key for you. If you're not watching that, there are several CEOs and presidents who have voluntarily leaving their jobs. It is controlled, as you said before, by the wealth of these people, and it will continue to grow until we have an incident of going to trial and stopping those people in order to help everyone globally with the laws that are made out to protect the innocents.
Thank you so much for your answer. I truly agree with you. And the biggest problem of our society is that, of our consumer-oriented society, that the profit stays on the first place instead of how it should be, because in normal society, human life is the highest value. And if we will change the format of our society and put the human life on the first place, we will not have such a trend as a violence that we have right now, and we will not have the problem of human traffic and sex trafficking, because that's simply unbelievable to have in like healthy society. There is something that even like scared to think about, but reality is just unbelievable. And the people who participate in the conference, who prepared the conference, are really true heroes, because they are not silent right now. They prepare this information and make it available for entire world, because we all need to know about this fact. And without knowing, we like dreaming, we constantly thinking that our life is so beautiful. No, it's not. The world is not in a good shape, let's say like that. And without our understanding of this problem, without understanding how to fix it, because we will not be able to change that. And we really need to understand that without changing the format, we will not be able to find out the way out of this terrible situation. So it's very, very difficult to understand how we still can have this problem in our world. And this conference was simultaneously interpreted to over 100 languages in order to every single person on earth get this information and to really get to decide, to understand and how we regular people can change the world. And that's why I would like to ask you your impression about the conference and your feedback about this amazing event. Could you please share it with us?
The conference was just amazing. I mean, I've never been so excited about coming together in order to save those who cannot save themselves. The speaking of different people around the world, to see that they are dealing with the same things that we are in the United States. And not only that, just to hear of everyone who was talking about everything that's going on with human trafficking, it was just like, I know we together as this platform in 100 different languages, we can truly make a difference. This is the first time that I feel and I know that having this conference like this with many people around the globe is going to make a difference. Because right now, globally, every 62 seconds, a person is human trafficked. Every 62 seconds, someone is being human trafficked. And now the worst part of it is that we're seeing more and more of this new thing from listening to other people that I met from the conference and talking to them for a little bit, that the baby trafficking that's going on now. Oh my gosh, it breaks my heart. The innocent girls who are very young, who are having these babies and they're trafficking. So the conference to me was eye-opening, and it was a relief that other people are helping in a way that I am, because I know here in the US, it is not a day that I go and snatch a girl back from a trafficker. And this is what I'm doing personally with my squad. We go in and we rescue people. And to hear on the conference on Saturday that there are other people who are working to do the exact same thing, I think this is a great start. I think this conference of everybody globally, we getting on the same page and going for the same goal is just amazing. I am just so elated of being a part of such a great movement.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And I have the same question to our other respected speakers. Could you please tell us why it is so important to raise such a topic that were raised on December 4th?
Ja, hallo. Vielen Dank für die
Yes,
Worte.
hello. Thanks for the words. Thank that you give me a word. It was really amazing, and to feel that so many people were collected together and they talk about the truth. They have possibility to talk about it. And what we really can do, we really need to understand what the situation, in what situation are we? We need to understand the situation with climate, whether there is a situation with refugees, what's happened really in our world. And so many people were really professional and talking about talk about such a thing that
Nicht nur vereinzelt die Sachen mal zu hören, man
so
liest
this,
man liest dort was, man sucht die Sachen zusammen.
it's really actually hard to collect all these things together, because you can read something in one direction in internet, so something another, but it's hard to combine it in one picture. And together we have this possibility to really
in vielen Bereichen und
to collect this. We heard it from different branches, all this information from this information, and with this message we can reach many people. We can talk about it. It's our task. It's really to talk about this conference, talk about it further, and did this feeling of truth to tell about, to share it with others. And this is information, what we feel. Because this is interest of the truth. It's we talked about it. It's like an interest of the whole man, of the whole humanity, humankind.
David, I also agree with you that the information was presented in a very good way. So it's not the first time in history people combined it, and we were able to see the entire picture as it is, and that's very, very, very important to see. I would like to ask the same question to Vladimir. Vladimir, could you please share your impression, your thoughts and feedbacks about the conference?
Yes, hello Marina, hello everyone, and thank you for the question. I must agree with what Chandra said, with what David said, and you were saying. This conference was really for me eye-opening, and I believe that before the conference, some of us, we may have seen different parts of the puzzle of what's going on in the world, different problems, but never before we have had the chance to see this in one global picture and to understand what is really happening and what is my own feeling and my understanding. I'm grateful for this conference because now we have all the chance to understand what are the realities of the climate problems, of many things that do not depend on us, like the cycles in the universe that reflect to our Earth and all the different disasters they are causing. And this is one part of the things. And the other part of the things, the other problems that really and truly shocked me was what we are doing to ourselves. We as humanity, we as people, we as so-called civilized, are we really a civilization when we allow such things to happen? I don't think so for the moment. I have my own family, I have 2 kids, and looking at what's happening to these poor kids, to these people, all this child trafficking and even adult trafficking and the slavery, this is totally not human. This is nothing that we should support and we can accept. And this is why this touched me to the bottom of my heart. And I'm really, really grateful to see this, because there is no other motivation that like what you see it. And I know that when I'm seeing millions of people who support the Creative Society project, I now believe in the future that we can all change this. All depends on us. We just need to unite, to understand, to unite, to spread the information, and then go and make all this change. So these are my direct comments about the conference, and thank you to everyone for speaking the truth, for raising these questions, these problems. So now we know, and now we need to unite and act for the good of all of us, for all the planet and all humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vladimir. Absolutely agree with you as well. So we truly need to do everything possible that this information will reach every single person on Earth. And I would like to pass the floor to our next guest, Jason Bell. Jason, could you please share your impression, and can you please tell us why it is so important to not to be silent and speak up about those facts that were voiced on that conference on December 4th?
Well, firstly, thank you, Marina, for the question. Thank you, Leslie and Marina, for hosting. And Benjamin, Vladimir, Chandra, thank you for being here and being a part of the Creative Society project. And David, thank you. It's important to say that because we've all lived our lives in this consumer format without a Creative Society project. And each one of us are here today and participated in the conference because we felt that the consumer format was wrong, but there was nowhere to go. So I highlight that because this conference allowed people an outlet, that there is finally a way, an ability, or a waypoint in the desert, right? Where people can join together and overcome this consumer society and wake up and inform more people. For me, the refugee video, since this is the topic we're discussing, was very important to me because I've spent the last 10 years of my life, 8 years of it in the military, and there was nowhere to go. There was no one to talk to about these things. You understand that human traffic and refugee crisis, raping and pillaging of people occur all over the world. But when you look at it intellectually, you rationalize it because people are doing these things to survive in the consumer format. And they are squashing their conscience, their humaneness, because that's what consumer society dictates. And yes, it's a tragedy, but there was literally nowhere to go. You know, Chandra commits her life to this. So just imagine she spends her life, but only hits the tip of the iceberg. Never able to actually address what's below the water because there was no format to address that consumeristic, animalistic behaviors that are glorified all over the world. So this conference allowed for the first time in 5,500 years. Everyone can open a history book and we go back to Sumeria and we model ourselves off of Greek and Sumerian history. And because of that, we glorify those animalistic qualities. So the Creative Society Project and this conference that united over 180 countries and more growing and interpreted into over 100 different languages by people who aren't paid to do it. That was very inspirational. And I don't think if there wasn't a Creative Society Project or it wasn't being done from the heart, that something like this could be achieved. It's impossible to achieve something like this if there's any money behind it, because you feel the disingenuousness of what you're doing, and eventually you step away from it. But when you feel people are doing things from their heart, that's what I felt from the conference. That's what I got from the speakers. That's what I got from the collages of videos that were done by people. And as has already been reiterated today, it is so nice to not feel alone or feel estranged for internally carrying around this feeling that you're living in something alien that is completely wrong. And so that's what I have to share about the conference and what it did. And that's how important it is, and how important it is for people to step forward and move forward from your conscience. Do those things and share about the Creative Society Project, because there's now an umbrella, okay, that we can build this world better, not just for a future generation or a tomorrow problem, but today, presently, for the people all over the world. And why? I'm going to take what Chandra said again, but I like to live by this and have for a long time. You should do what you can do for those who don't have the opportunity to do, so that in the future they will. So thank you guys for allowing me to speak, and thank you for sharing your personal experiences and your professional experiences. And Leslie and Marina, thank you for hosting this wonderful discussion.
Thank you so much, Jason, for that. And, you know, it's such a good point about what we're doing is not a consumerist activity. There's no money involved. It's all spirit. It's all love for our fellow man. And I believe we all have that inside of us. We all have that inside of us. And I think the more we get to see it, as our conference showed, the more we put it out there, it will become more common. It will become more of less fear. Like the song says, there is no fear in this. It doesn't cost us anything to be good people. It doesn't cost anything. And to, you know, those words, you know, we can open any door if we allow ourselves to do it. And it is so important that we've gathered from around the world with this spirit, without fear, and just love for our fellow man. And it is contagious, and it is going to get better. It is going to grow, because we are not afraid to put that spirit, that energy out there. And we are one spirit. As we were just the other day, we are one spirit today, and we're strong.
Yes, the power of unity is just unbelievable. So our human potential is very, very big. And if we're truly united, we can fix all problems and really create much, much better world that we have right now. And I also would like ask our question, our participant from Germany, Benjamin. Could you please share your thoughts and your feedbacks about the conference?
Ja, hallo ihr Lieben.
Yes, hello dear friends, thanks that I can be today with you, and thanks for everything that you do,
dass ihr das alles so mit
for everything that you do, everything possible. It's so see so big this feeling. The conference was so really very, very. So I feel very actually excited about this conference and this that we build a creative society. That so many people they doing that. That's kind of it's no utopia. So that I also was part of it, and we do it together. We build a creative society, and this conference was so clear to represent this refugee crisis, human trafficking. All these questions were raised. And political crisis, energy crisis, and trash crisis, and all these questions were raised, and that in all civilized countries we haven't heard this in mainstream media. We simply this question was not raised, and this our consume format. It's always so twisted and distorted, and we know that the root of this great problem is really consumption, because why we have this refugee crisis, because we see why this human trafficking were actually why this problem exists, because we see that there are such a country, they have nothing, and the only resource they have is people, and they come back and take everything what they can, and actually the trash that we actually need to be recycled, it was just we send it to other countries, and it's really bad what we do with other people. It's really bad what we see, what we do with our planet, with our only home, and it's really sad that to see this truth, to actually, and what we do with our planet. And the worst thing that I learned from the conference, that was really inside me, that all these what touched me really, when we had this information. And when I heard all this information, when I heard everything what was said on the conference, when I actually don't do anything, then I just make a sentence to me. I make a sentence to all the people on the earth. I let them die. This was really something deep in my heart, because this is what the life formation should be on the first place. It doesn't matter which religion, it doesn't matter which color of the skin it is, we are one, that every human life should be valuable. And I just want to become aware, that all people become aware of this conference, and I really thankful for this, for the conference, for the creative society, that we are doing it together, we building it, we need to talk about the whole humanity about this conference, and all the things that we collected information, we collected for many hours, for days, weeks, months, and we have made so many things. We talk to many people, we do this research, and it's I'm thankful for these people, because they are really true heroes, and simply people who respect life of others, and it's really important, and I support this, and thanks God that we have this opportunity. Thank you so much.
So much, Benjamin, for your kind words. We really appreciate your feedbacks, and we know that you were active participant of the preparation for this conference, and we also would like to thank you to be so active and do everything possible that this conference will be the best in the human history. Thank you. And as you emphasized today, all of you emphasized today, that our society is on the brink. In the different spheres of the society, we have crisis. And that's the indication that the format is no longer relevant. So we all see that in our society, human life has no value. And how is it possible that instead of helping people, those who are in a very bad situation, those people encounter aggression, abuse, and even slavery. This is not the migration crisis that we're facing right now. This is the crisis of humanness. And my next question goes to Vladimir Ivanov. Vladimir, could you please share with us what we can do in order that such a thing as the refugee and slavery would not exist at all?
Thank you, Marina, for the question. Myself, I'm a lawyer and I'm working with refugees and migrants in my profession. Now, knowing everything that we have voiced and shown to the world in this conference, I can say a few things. And I believe that there will be no refugee problem in the creative society. Why? Because in the creative society, we shall be one family and we will all have one home. And we shall no longer need to run anywhere because we will always feel at home everywhere. Now, in the current consumer society, we don't perceive ourselves as one united family because we have been divided for too long time. And today, we should manage to unite and within a very short period of time. Because as we have already seen at the conference, what threats humanity is facing nowadays, it is incredible. Never before in history have we faced this. And we see all of that and we understand it, what is threatening us. And as an example, what does a country do when there is such a threat and realizes that a war is coming and cannot be avoided? It's normal, it begins to prepare. Whereas what do we do now, all the humanity? After all, we are in this very war. And in our case, the war we are facing right now will be against much stronger opponent. I mean, this is the climate. So what do we need to do? We need to notice what is happening. We need to understand. And I'm very grateful to everybody that we're showing this and with details and information and so many proofs. So that this shows to everybody that we're in a very serious situation and we need to change it, to unite it. Because right now, what is incredible that we are passive, we are inactive. And we somehow believe that this crisis, I mean, for example, the climate, which by the way is the root cause of all the refugees. Why do we have all the refugees? Why all the migrants, they are coming from one land to another? Because they don't feel safe. They don't have even decent human conditions to live in. And they're trying to save their lives. They're running, they're somewhere to flee just to exist. Imagine, just to exist. So this is the root cause of all of that. And now we need to change the format to unite and create such conditions for all the humanity where nobody will need to run anymore. And when there will be abundance and there will be also a very fair distribution of everything, all the resources that we have in our big human family that we have on the earth. And then this crisis, for example, the refugees, this will disappear. And when the human life is at first place, as is the foundation of the Creative Society Project #1, then all will change and we shall make a better world. So this is my very short understanding of the situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it also correlates with the comments that we received during the live broadcast on December 4th. And I would like to read it for you. Our inaction aggravates all of these problems. Creative society is our salvation and the solution to all problems that we are facing right now. We can protect all people from such a slavery, violence, and bullying. And I absolutely agree with this statement. Because, once again, if in a society we will have the human life staying on the first place, then definitely there will be no place for the violence at all. And we as a society will do everything possible that we completely forget what violence means, what war means, hunger, and all the problems that right now is so common.
Absolutely. Yes, it is not impossible. It is not impossible. This is something that we just all need to agree upon. I mean, every human being. And I think every human being is willing to do that. It's the forces of government and the the lack of understanding that this problem doesn't just happen in your environment, it is around the world. And the world is your environment. It really is. And we're all connected now, and we all realize that. And we need to keep connecting with one another. But the idea of the creative society is something that we've all thought of as kids. Being happy, living free. And we grow as adults into this consumerist format, and we forget all about happy and free. We're working hard. We're killing ourselves to make someone else rich. And we're thinking, oh boy, we're doing great. Oh, I'm middle class. Oh, and one day I'll have more money in the bank. No. You destroy yourselves. You destroy everything about that inner spirit, that inner child that you lost. You constantly destroy it. And then when you get to the point where you're at retirement in your life, oh, what do I do now? It's what you've wasted. It's what you've given up. We are not giving up. We are not giving up the spirit of love, of care for each other. We are not giving that up. We are awakening. We are awakening that spirit that has been dead for so long.
Yes, Leslie. And we're definitely responsible for what happened in the world right now. And our action is definitely decide right now the future. And another comment that I would like to read before we move to another question is exactly emphasizing the responsibility. Each person is responsible for what is happening in the world. The further we sit down and remain silent, we accept, meaning we accept, meaning we agree with everything that happens now. This means we support it and contribute to it. And now I would like to ask the question to all our speakers and open a free discussion. How can the situation change if everyone will take action? Why it is so important that unification comes from people themselves?
When Martin Luther King spoke about freedom, he gathered people together, and it was people that made the choice to change the direction of the country of the United States. When Hitler wanted to destroy the world, it was people that stood behind him and decided to move in that direction. And there's many examples, those are just two. And when people decide to unite behind the idea that human life is valuable, that human freedom is valuable, that human safety, that transparency and openness of information should be afforded to all people, and that each individual remembers that they hold that power. And that was said during the conference, actually, by David Foster. And, yeah. So the reminder was that every government, whether localized or whether this big umbrella of global government, it still starts with one person. And if people choose the idea of unity and come together, that's not just one person anymore. That's 7 billion. Onwards up to 8 billion. And yes, it's a bit exaggerated because not everybody has access to technology, as we've seen. But when the majority decide to move towards human life, what makes anyone think that those that can't do it won't jump aboard? There's actually very few people on this planet that don't have a soul. It's like less than 0.0001%. Okay, let's just use that. And so you don't even have to worry about them because the majority of people want to live free. And I think to answer your question, that's what people need to remember, that they hold the power. It's not some imaginary guy in a White House It's not some boss that lives in a faraway land and has all these bank accounts. No, he's also a part of the population doing what he can do. She's also a part of the population doing what they can do in the consumer format. You can't knock it. But as a matter of fact, if we elect to move towards human life, then our technological capacity, our intelligence, our capacity to do good with that technology will be magnified and will afford the solution to everything that's been discussed, that everything that's on everyone's mind, whether it's a vaccine, whether it's climate, whether it's transportation, whether it's not having air to breathe or water. How can you not come up with a solution if 8 billion people are working together towards that solution? It's disingenuous to not acknowledge that when people come together, we can either destroy or we can create. And we have numerous historical references to that. We have numerous movies on Netflix about it, numerous shows on Amazon about it. I mean, all you have to do is look. It's right there. And I think people do want that, as Leslie put. Many people have not forgotten. They have an inner child. But what they didn't know before is now there's a way out. And I think it's important to highlight that, because it's that umbrella of the creative society that affords people to choose something different. That's really it, guys. We can't change anything if you don't know your house is on fire. So it's on fire. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. That's true. The house is definitely on fire, and we definitely need to start to act. And without knowing that we have a way out, it's very difficult to act. That's why we need to share this information with as many people as possible. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to interject? Chandra? Would you like to say
Oh my
something?
gosh, I was sitting over here about to jump out of the seat, because Jason is exactly correct. I mean, I can't say it enough. It's going to take the people to make a difference. And as soon as memories of just a year ago, we see that one person could bring people together and change their mind for the worse. Just imagine what we can do if we get together collaboratively and change for forces. This is why I'm just so excited right now. I just can't calm down. But anyway, this is why this conference have been so passionate for me, is because I see all the people that I'm not lost. I am not just thinking that I have values and morals, that if people their world is crumbling down around them because of the climate, that they travel hundreds of miles to get to one location, and we try to turn them down. We betray them, we use them, we sell them, and we don't join to help them. They have traveled hundreds of miles to get somewhere safe for their children, their husbands, their wives, for them to live a better life, and we turn them down? Who made us God? So, we can do it. This conference has proven to me that we, the people, we can do it. That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And when you do good, for others, it's like the domino effect. It will happen for the next and the next person. And in a collaborative way, oh my God, I mean, it would just be awesome. I mean, just totally awesome for everyone to just reach out. Again, it doesn't cost anything to reach out to someone to inspire that everything's going to be okay. We're going to do this together. It's just the love of mankind that we need to remember for each other, for ourselves, for our children, for our children's children, and so on. But today, we can make the difference. Today, we can make the difference. And we're not putting it off for tomorrow and the next day. Every day, our volunteers are doing something today. today, every day, today, yesterday, today. And that is what is most important right now.
Yes, Leslie, absolutely. And you know, that reminds me the quote from Nelson Mandela. He said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers the fear." So I think that's the right time to conquer the fear, because knowing the truth, that's the best instrument to conquer it. When we know what is happening, when we know the solution, what's the way out, we just only need to act.
Yes, absolutely, because there's really no one needs to be ignorant to what is happening. We continue to communicate and we learn. And we have to, here in America, stop allowing the media, the local news, to control what we should know, and not be afraid to branch out and like, okay, I want to think for myself and I'm going to investigate this. I'm going to ask elsewhere. If they're telling me news is coming from Europe, okay, well, maybe I should go online and see what's going on in Europe and not listen to something that's secondhand and watered down in some way, but to just, if I'm going to listen to the news, explore it. Don't just settle for what's being said, and it's been done too long. Everyone has their favorite news channel, and it's been done too long. And we have to eliminate that ignorance and begin, as we're doing, talking to each other from all around the world and learning.
Ihr beide, ihr habt gerade was angesprochen, das ist.
Yeah, you have just discussed this question, and for me personally, it was the big problem is just fear, and to take the responsibility means just to take this first chance, to take this chance to talk about the truth, and this truth, this global fear, the fear is a big factor. Why this not possible? Why this? We have saw that so many people collected together and they told the truth, and then and there were really the people who are told the truth, and it's always and only the fear stopped them, and the fear in the head. What we need is we need to learn, we need to love each other. So many people have this fear, and we just need to, with the feel, with other deep feelings, this to organize, to bring together all the people from the whole world and tell the truth, tell them the truth, and be united. And every person should tell the truth, and it's very important that we talk about that.
Ich würde auch noch gerne was ergänzen zu.
And also to add a bit to this point.
Jetzt, ja. Entschuldigung.
Sorry.
Ich glaube, dass
I think that the fear of the truth, and everybody has feel that, and everybody they feel this shocked, or when you are really shocked about what you know about this truth and true facts, and then this feeling it just pressed you so much. But every person, this spirit, this spirit inside, it's actually, it makes you grow. When you understand it, you can. And when you see these facts, when you see all this information, you understand, you feel that there is a solution, there is a hope that we can do it together. This creative society is exactly this project. That's just like in a simple form. It explains to mention that we need to be united. We need we talked about our potential as humanity. We have a really big potential in many areas. And when you just imagine how if we point our potential in one direction, we understand that together we can do so many things. We are because we have so many scientists in many different areas, and when we unite all of them, when we can actually research for our future, for the people, for the whole world. When we don't do it for like a military project or for something, some project that was not constructive but destructive, but when we have more scientists. Understand that when we have scientists, we'll listen to other scientists, what they said. For sure, that we can easily find a solution. It actually was not a moment in history that we, as a united humanity, we can do so many things together. And to the people who organized this conference, I actually so grateful for that, and every call that we made and of our exchange, we go in one direction, and we can increase this information about creative society. And for sure, we'll find a solution for that. And I also would like to add a bit, David, what we also need to sort and understand what on the prophets said, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, God bless him, that all these great people, they talked about creative society. They haven't had internet at their time, but they talked about the truth. And just imagine how a big potential we have right now, because we have technology, we have sources to connect with each other, because we are not aligned. We can connect, and we can do a huge step.
I agree with you. And we need to also understand that time flies very, very fast. And when we need to realize that climate situation is very, very crucial. And this consumer format will not be able to help us at all to overcome this situation. And Chandra, could you please share and motivate our viewers what can help us, what can help every single person to realize personal responsibility and start to act right now in order to save life of every people on earth, every single human?
You know, it's really disappointing to say, but in order for other people to react, something has to affect them personally, or someone who's intertwined close to them that can share with them their experiences. You know, the lack of knowledge is death for anyone. And until we start to educate everyone exactly what's going on with climate change, exactly what's going on with human trafficking, they will not totally react. I have seen and witnessed until something or someone close to them are in that situation. By us taking this, and I feel this all the time, that there should be a news channel that feeds this information to everyone, because when you don't see it, it's easy for you to dismiss it. And when you don't know, or you fail to look at what's exactly going on, then it's easy for you not to entertain it. We have to figure out a way. And this global conference that we have here, there is a way that we can do this, that we have a platform that we are bringing this to people who need to know about it. We're bringing it to the communities so that they can know about it. Because sometimes within the communities that I have reached out to from all around the world, of speaking to the UK, of talking to them about how to rescue girls from human trafficking, and then what to do with them once they get them, they did not know. So it is education and knowledge of what is available can help them. And that's all across the board, whether they're rich or poor. They need to know what resources are available.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And there are lots of resources available, and they're not utilized.
Right,
Because people don't know. It's exactly what you're saying. People don't know that those resources are there. And unfortunately, here in America, those resources are available. And the people who have those resources are not out there letting people know that they are available. And this is really sad because they've gotten the money to provide this program and they don't let people know. And that's the worst part. It really is, because resources, there are so many resources available, and the idea of human trafficking being as widespread as it is, and people walking by people that need this resource and not letting them know that it's available it's pathetic. And that's why in a creative society, all resources will be known to people. Every resource will be known, and not just 911, but the resources that are there to help you every day. And so much of resource is going to waste. And you are so right. You are so right. The idea of this being available, everyone needs to know. So they can let that neighbor know. They can let that person they walk by know this is available for you. And all it takes is this is available for you. This is here for you. You know, it's the idea of spreading information. It's just spreading information. It's just showing your fellow man that I don't have it, but someone else does. And here it is.
Humanity, that's what all it needs, is for you to care about your human fellow man and woman.
Yes, I agree. And there were one more comment during the live broadcast that I would like to read today. And maybe some of our respected speakers would like to comment on that. How many more people have to suffer for the skeptics to awaken their humanity and to replace cleverness with the concern, what can I personally do in order to change this situation? I think we all know these questions. So when we were spreading the information about the Creative Society, about the conference, this is one of the most common questions that people ask. So maybe one of you can answer it, because it's really time to change that.
It's actually very simple to answer such a question like that. But for those that are going to watch this, and the comment I've left often in the conferences we've done is, what burden of proof will be enough for you? You know, when people ask that question, I have to ask that rhetorical question. What burden of proof is enough for you? Have you not walked outside? Have you not turned on the news? Have you not seen there's no such thing as Social Security, that inflation does exist, that climate is destroying people's homes, that no amount of money or resources we've given Haiti is enough because of consumer format, that no amount of help that we do for each other has been enough because we don't address humanity? So what burden of proof is enough? 200 Google Scholar papers? You know? But how can a person take action? Sacrifice 1 hour of your Netflix show to get up and go talk to a stranger about Creative Society. Do that. You know, when you're in Walmart or wherever your grocery stores are in the world, you're in line. Talk to somebody. Talk about unity. I mean, it's real easy. We can sit there and talk about Donald Trump, Biden, Boris Johnson, Vladimir Putin. That's real easy for people to talk about. But for some reason, we struggle to talk about unity, about love, about compassion, caring for each other. And it's hard. I will give you that. It is a very hard thing to overcome. And I actually wanted to say this earlier, but a friend, Andre, a couple weeks ago had reminded us that that's humanity's problem, is we're learning to communicate for the first time ever. We're actually addressing the problem that we don't know how to communicate to each other. We don't know how to communicate to our children, our loved ones, our bosses, our friends. And for too long, we get emotional or we shut down instead of digging deep and using that courage that is there to just talk to each other. It's strange, isn't it? But for such a clever question, there's such a clever answer. Just talk to each other. Thank you for the question.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's like we're doing today. You know, we're talking to each other. We're talking to each other through our spirit, through our love, you know, for fellow man, you know, and it feels so good, you know, to be able to connect in that way. And I just know there are so many other people, especially here in America, that want to be a part of this, but the fear of what the next person might say is always the problem. You're out of your mind. No way. Yeah, way. Yeah, way. There is a way. You know, that's what you were taught in Catholic school when you were growing up. You were taught that. You may have forgotten, you know, but you were taught that growing up in parochial schools and stuff like that. No, there is. It is possible. It is very possible, and it starts with you. It starts with you. That self-image, that self-spirit, that self-love. And you will see and feel the difference when you put yourself out there, especially when people respect you. When you have the respect of people and what you do in your life, people will listen and people will follow and people will bring others together. I know that. I know that for a fact because of what I do, you know, as a fitness instructor. And it's amazing to me, but the love I receive from the elders, from people who were here much longer than me, listen to what I have to say about the creative society and about coming together and about how this world can be so different, you know, and they allow that energy to flow from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and they understand and they believe it is possible. And it makes them feel good knowing that someone younger than them has this spirit and energy that they don't have as much anymore, but someone younger than them is awakening it in them once again and giving them hope, giving them inspiration and that feel-good love. And that's so important to bring our younger and older generation together because we need them too. And we don't want them to be left out. We talk about our children and how we want to have this for them, but we need to let our elders know this is for you here right now. We are going to spread that love to you as you did to us the best you could. because they didn't have it the way we have it right now. We have more choices. We have more technology. We have more ways of getting around the world without stepping out our door than they ever did. And we're doing that today. And we did it yesterday. And we did it last year, the year before that. And we need to let them know that this world is here and it isn't going anywhere because we are here. We are here to save it. And they love to hear that. They love to hear that.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Our discussion is coming closer to the end, and I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all speakers of today's international discussion. And thank you so much for sharing with us your understanding, your thoughts about the conference, your thoughts about the way out for our society. We really appreciate your wisdom that you shared with us and with our viewers. And dear viewers, thank you so much for being with us today. We truly would like to hear your feedback. That's why could you please follow us on Instagram and Twitter and send us your video at info@creativesociety.com. We would like to share your feedback next time on the next international discussion that we will have right now every single day, because the information that were presented on the conference Global Crisis Time for the Truth is so much important for all of us, and every single person needs to know that. That's why let's get together, let's organize more discussion like we had it today and spread this vital information around the world. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for one spirit. One spirit.
We are one love.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's just try. Well, find the reason why you're gonna pay. You run above all the run the race. You know I'm in it anyway. Trust and believe that I can't stay away. It's just try. a little bit.